Tommy DeFrance and Gustavo Furtado's recently organized a conference at Duke University titled The Future of Reenactment, a title that itself captures the paradox/ambivalence/undecidability of the pre-reenactment that we are gathered here to think about today. Reenactment, like reiteration, suggests futurity at the same time that it instigates a backward glance. Given the possibilities of again time that reenactment poses, DeFrance and Furtado's phrase, the future of reenactment, posits reenactment as its own pre-enactment, in that one reenactment, composed of iterability, can anticipate another and another, just as any pre-enactment anticipates and scripts itself as a matter of the coming past, the past that it, pre-enacting toward a reenactment, will have been. DeFrance and Furtado's call for this conference reads as follows. Reenactments are, above all, disturbances in the perceived linearity of time. Through corporeal repetition, the past gains a ghostly simultaneity with the present, and every repetition harbors the possibility of difference, that is, the possibility that the past may yet have another future. Of course, bodies repeating or posing or recomposing themselves as repetition to come are nothing new. I'm going to assume here that we are all familiar with Louis Althusser's small story of the policeman and the passerby that he offers as a metaphor for the becoming subject of collective ideology. The policeman calls out, "Hey, you there," and the passerby turns, becoming in that turn a subject of the state. Althusser was quite explicit that ritual, or his, quote, little theater, is the very stuff of interpolation by which he tells us that the policeman's "hey, you there," a call that forces a subject to turn as subject, is at once singular and recurs in again time. In again time without succession, quote unquote, without succession, says Althusser. It is a pre- and reenactment without succession. Without succession might seem to mean without change, and yet each reiteration, each reenactment, each successionless repetition, wave upon wave upon wave, provokes a turn, a ricochet, and opens the possibility that a different response may be possible. This is what DeFrance and Furtado might mean by the disturbance of linear time, in that the turn or the passage or the interval, or from one of the talks earlier, the hesitation, right? The interval between call and response is always again, quote, the possibility that the past may yet have another future, end quote, or another, or another. Is it possible to say that what comes undone in reveling in the paradoxical shape-shifting, place-shifting, and time-shifting that occur as intervals among pre-enactments and reenactments, that what comes undone is the very linearity of time? That is, though the terms pre and re appear to authorize linearity, the experience is rather more chiasmatic. In looking backward, reenactment looks forward. In looking forward, pre-enactment looks back. As forward and back become interchangeable, then lateral movement starts to seem like a pretty interesting possibility, especially when the passerby is black. And there's more to say about this anon. Perhaps in the interval in which we negotiate the tangled crosshatch of before and after, or the tangled crosshatch of pre and re, the possibility of yet other directions can be palpably felt, as movement otherwise, as movement to the side, laterally, slant, sidestepping, transversality, chiasmatic, crossing, fugitivity, or flight, such that the past might have a different future indeed, and the future find a different past.